Well, how does the PA program here differ? I mean, you've experienced, well, you're in 3 different PA programs now, I guess. Netherlands, South Africa, you know, here. So what are the differences? And
the Dutch program is rather unique in that it is you do the training under a mentorship of a specialist for the duration of the master course, and during that you will have that one specialist that guides you throughout, and every week you've got a mix of doing work on your own department where the specialist works, and having academic activities, and then doing your placement. And so that mix per week is quite unique in the world in PA training. Then in South Africa it is much more classical. It is on campus, and PA students or clinical associate students are brought under our guidance to the wards from an early stage, from 6 weeks. And here it's a distance course, and so that makes it, we're not the only ones in the world that do it, but is one of the very few. And many are skeptical that it could work, and I was also skeptical, and Al was also skeptical, but it works, and the feedback that we get from supervisors and about our students and our graduates are very, very positive, and they see that our students are very capable in performing their tasks as a PA.
We start them out early, so during that first year, they go out for 40 hours of clinical placement, either in a general practice or an emergency setting. And it's a chance for them to try out their newfound skills of history, physical examination, case presentation, just start to use some of their new skills. The second year, that stretches out to 160 hours, or a full month of time. And we break that up into roughly 80 hours a semester. And then the third and fourth year is 1,600 hours of placement. So it progresses into being totally clinical. Again, a similarity to US or UK or Canadian programs. We're very flexible with clinical placement scheduling, and that's because we don't have regular rotations of anything, and because our students have such hectic schedules, usually with work and families. So we allow the students to work out rosters with the doctors and institutions they're working with. And so far that works very well. They turn in attendance sheets and all that sort of thing, but we don't monkey with trying to set a schedule for them. They do that with the docs and the institutions they work for, and so far that's worked very well.
So they're working in an institution in their hometown or wherever they're situated?
Yep.
As they take the online course?
Yeah, so much like my goal was when I was the clinical coordinator at the University of Utah for 9 years, I had students from all over the country. And my goal was to keep them close to home for their clinical placements. Wasn't always possible. It's a big challenge here. I have had to move students from where they were up here to the Townsville Hospital or to other places where I had openings and support. We've moved several students from great distance, Tasmania, way south in Queensland, up here for 10, 11 weeks to do inpatient medicine, emergency medicine. All of them, even though being greatly inconvenienced, have had absolutely fabulous experiences here. So it's worth it, but it's very problematic for these guys to pull up and leave family and take leave of absence and all that. But I do have to move them around. It's simply not possible for me to find everything most of the time in one area. And again, it's the challenge of not being recognized in all the states and territories. Do what we have to, and I'm very upfront with the students from day one that that's what it's going to be like. But I'll bend over backwards, do anything I can to keep them close to home.
So the program is a 3-year bachelor degree, and the choice to make it a bachelor degree was based on making it as accessible as possible for people that did not have a bachelor, so they wouldn't have to do a postgraduate, and this would make it accessible for folks like paramedics, Aboriginal health workers, who are coming with a certificate from a certificate level. And that decision was made largely on the fact that our program and the support that we get for the program is got a very much a rural setting. So you know, the outlying areas of Queensland, with its maldistribution of doctors, the outlying areas of the rest of Australia in the outback need the support of PAs the most, and that's where the focus of this program lies. So there's that is also the reason for this program being of a blended or distance learning, so that we have only 3 rest blocks per year where the students come to campus, and for the rest they can do all the learning at home. And in that way we don't have to extract them from their communities, from their families, and they can learn whilst working. And that opens the program for a lot more people.
This is a schedule that includes all the 6 years of the medical students as well as our 3 years of the PA course. All these areas of blue or pink, the only times they're on campus are these dark pink areas. So, or I'm sorry, the green areas. So 3 times a year we see them for 7 to 10 days at a stretch. And we do all the things that you can't possibly do online. Clinical skills, especially clinical skills and procedural stuff. As it turns out, it's been very unfortunate, but we haven't had the numbers of Aboriginal health workers coming to the course that we anticipated. And the few that have not survived the academic load. And a lot of that has to do with their lack of tertiary education background, because this is a load.
Are you trying to make efforts to bring those people up to speed, or are you just...
Great question. We especially were very keen to find some sort of way to upskill our Aboriginal health workers, to give them the necessary tools to survive, you know, the academic rigor. We haven't been able to put anything together. There are actually 2 diploma programs here available for Aboriginal folks, one through the School of Indigenous Studies and one through our healthcare division. But unfortunately, both of them are on-campus courses, and our guys couldn't possibly come here for a year at a time. So that hasn't worked out, and we haven't found any suitable way to use another university's blended curriculum. There's not much out there in the way of what we need to get our guys ready.